Welcome to iHeartGeek.
And welcome to another episode of iHeartGeek. We are
That's it. That's all we can do.
That's all we can do.
Yeah.
We are so all over the board today. This is amazing. We're Doctor Whoing it up. And before this, I wish we would have recorded this conversation because we had Geek on Geek. We talked Star Wars. We talked... What else did we talk about, Kaj?
Talked about Doctor Who a little bit.
A lot of Doctor Who.
We're just kind of setting up for the episode.
Because we are talking this episode.
Matt Smith, because, he's just a handsome and wonderful gentleman. Yeah.
And no theories and a multiverse.
No theories and a multiverse.
There you go. That's all we'll go there. Yeah.
Well, definitely with the conversation,
And
you're
Preacher.
absolutely right that it's, the more theories that you put out there, the more you want that theory to be true. And then when it's not true, then you get upset. And then you have episode 8. So, right.
Exactly. And
right.
just enjoy the freaking episode. Watch the movie. When it comes out, it comes out. Cool.
Agreed.
You know what? They're better. There's probably better writers than the guys that are writing it. So... Oh, yeah, we're talking about Doctor Who again,
okay.
aren't we?
Yes.
Okay. So, yeah, we're going to be talking the Capaldi-verse.
Mm-hmm.
Rockstar
with sunglasses.
As we know, we like to do the Doctor Who's one at a time, and we will go through their whole scenario. We've wanted to do Capaldi for a while. We wanted to do it before this season started, but we didn't get to it because we had to wait for a rock star to join us. I mean, a true rock star.
Right.
Kaj, would you like to introduce our rock star that we have with us today?
No. Because you do it so well, my friend. And I'm very tired, and I'll probably say something wrong. So no. No.
We have the Twitter guru. What is it? The Green Korean one? That's the right one. That's
I'm not even sure, and I'm also waiting for the rock. Who's the rock star? I'm really excited to see him. When's he get here?
Is it Spaces and Places? I can't remember what it was.
Oh
No, that's my HGTV show.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
We have the host of Faces and Aces LV. Wow, you're throwing me off. This is
I didn't want to introduce
This
him.
is my 6th show tonight. I just want to let you all know that. And this one's going to have the best sound quality of any of them. We have my good buddy Chris. How you doing, bud?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me back.
Oh, dude, anytime. And I mean that in all serious reality-ish.
Yeah, well, I mean, anytime
Timey-wimey,
Anytime you guys talk Who, I will fight my way to get back in here because I love talking Who. And I have a theory that I want to drop for you guys.
Oh, no.
Okay. Maybe not necessarily theory, but in a way that the show could have gone.
Okay. Could have gone. Okay.
Could have
so
gone.
This isn't, we're not expecting this.
Right.
Okay, go
Right.
for it.
Okay, so you have Matt Smith, who is the final regeneration of the Doctor.
Right.
Okay.
Correct. You also have Jenny out there floating somewhere as the Doctor's daughter.
Oh, I hate you
Correct.
already, but yes, I'm in.
They should have, in my opinion, killed the Doctor because that was his final regeneration. That way it would have stayed within the lore that they had built for the previous 50 years.
Right.
Jenny, the daughter, comes back and says, I will carry on the legacy of my father and I will name myself the Doctor. Boom. You have a character that has 11 more regenerations and is also the Doctor.
Okay.
Ooh, that's good.
But they didn't, because I actually had a conversation with a friend of mine about this, that they actually did subtly say, like, Clara, if I'm not mistaken, went up with the crack in time, with the Gallifreyans. She pleaded with them to be like, look, if you don't help him, then you're going to die. So
Right.
that's the actual Time Lords gave him a recycled.
I mean, they fixed it.
But that's what I'm saying because
That's what he would have liked to have seen.
And now we have no idea how many more times it could regenerate, and it's nebulous and whatever. I'm saying this is a way that they could have stayed with what they've been talking about for the previous 50
made
years.
it more plausible or made it more true to the timeline than what this one is.
Instead of fudging, he only has X number of regenerations. Now he has now they just changed the rules.
It's not necessarily from what he was depicting. It wasn't necessarily unlimited. It was that they just basically reset him. So Capaldi would be the first, and
Right.
Jodie would be the second.
Right.
So now he has 10 more.
However, there was one
And they're
episode.
going to forget about it by the time they get there. So,
And I know we'll get into it, but I know there was one episode where Capaldi says, I could die. I have no idea how many more times I can die.
Oh, yeah?
Okay.
So I'm just
Fair
saying.
enough.
I'm just saying. Like I thought that would have been a cool way to go, and then that way also they could have gone straight into a female doctor after Matt
But I
Smith,
feel
Right.
like,
but not the doctor, where people wouldn't get bent out of shape.
I could see
but
that.
I feel like if they did do that, people don't have the attachment to. Well, this is the doctor that I've been following for 50 years, and yes, this is the daughter. So, and it's a female, and the writing sucks. I'm out.
Yeah.
I think people would give up on it a lot faster because they don't have an emotional attachment because it's not the doctor anymore.
Yeah, and the other flaw with my idea is we would not have gotten Peter Capaldi.
Yeah,
That is true.
who was surprisingly good. So you know what? Let's hit the elephant in the room first on this one. By the way, we're not talking.
You
Jodie
mean
Whittaker.
Clara?
We are not fat shaming in here.
I'm not.
No, we'll get to Clara.
I
No,
respect the actress.
Well, her face is so wide, she does require 3 mirrors.
Right.
That's a good joke. That's a good joke from the show. I'm not saying it, and I was in the show.
So everybody hated Capaldi when he first started because he was mean. It wasn't what we were expecting. After how lovable the last 2 doctors were, it was definitely hard to get used to Capaldi. When did you guys, or did you at all, finally say, okay, you know what? I think this doctor's pretty cool. I mean, it took me a minute, but there's things that happened that were cool, and then there's the one moment I'm like, oh, he could almost be my doctor. And that we'll get to that later, but what point did you guys hit that, okay, well, at least he's tolerable, and what point did you say he's awesome?
I think for me it was the season 8 episode Flatline when he's fighting the flat creatures, the 2-dimensional creatures, and he sends them back.
Okay, yeah.
And he claims the role. I'm the doctor, and I name you the. And I wish I could remember what he named them. The
I don't remember.
Liners.
the flat people.
Chalk World.
We should have somebody on a computer right now.
Yeah, there's none at the table at all.
Well, you know the funny thing is because the way he said it the whole time, I thought he named them the Beauregard. And I know that is not it because I just recently rewatched this episode and I finally understood what he said, and there was a name that is very simple that's not coming to my mind, but that is the moment when to me he owned the Doctor character.
Okay, that's fair.
I think it's. I'm not really sure. Well, I definitely know when and it's I'll kind of pass it on to you because I think we both have the same thing, which is when I'll start off with the first one, which is the Face the Raven.
That was the first. Okay,
That was kind of
mine was a little earlier.
Mine was a little. It was kind of like at the beginning. Yeah, you're right. When he had amnesia and didn't want to, like, he couldn't remember who he was and whatnot. I was like
In the restaurant, you're like, he's really gonna let her die.
It wasn't the same. Like I was waiting for him to turn into like a Matt Smith or a David Tennant version of the Doctor.
And he never did. And I'm so
And he
glad.
never did. He did to a certain extent, but not. He wasn't into his character just yet. But when Face the Raven came in, that's when I was like, I love this guy. This guy is amazing. And from there, I know it took me a long time to get into it. I enjoyed him, but I really fell in love with him in that episode. Yes,
I liked him the first time I saw him with his guitar.
in that with the tank when he comes in with the tank and the sunglasses
for no real reason, but I'm like, oh, he's really making this his own. Nobody's done this, and just because I know kind of the history of Capaldi, you know, he was in a punk band with freaking Craig Ferguson.
Right.
I mean, he's legit a punk rocker, and he brought that into the Doctor, and I'm like, you know, okay, I can sit through this now. And then I liked him for a long time, and then I fell in love with him on the episode with the punching through the diamond wall.
Is that Hellbent or Heaven Sent?
I'm looking it up right now. It's either Hellbent or Heaven Sent.
I
think it's the end of Heaven Sent and the beginning of Hellbent.
Yeah, for a million years.
Yeah, it's like
or a billion years.
Yeah, something like that.
Just such a. That was like. He was the only person in that episode.
Heaven Sent.
Heaven Sent.
Okay.
Okay. He was the only person in that entire episode. He was it. And he held your attention for an hour. That literally, it's Groundhog Day. He did the same thing over. And I believed every second of it. I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy is the Doctor.
Yeah, I don't think
he's breaking his hand and dying and doing it again.
I don't think there's many actors that could actually, or actors and directors who guided him into that way to actually pull that off. Like if it was anybody else, I don't think it would have been.
It
as
was
prominent.
such a brilliant moment.
It wouldn't have had as much impact as what it did with Capaldi. Yeah,
It made me care about Bill, and I didn't care about Bill for crap before that either.
But that's what he brought to the role that none of the previous doctors had. He brought gravitas.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he just carries so much weight, and he has the chops to do an episode
He's the
like
first
that.
one since the first Doctor that could pull that off.
Do you
The first
think-
Doctor could have done it, and
Oh.
he did it. That's it.
Oh, okay. The first Doctor.
The first Doctor.
Yeah, got it. Gotcha.
Whatever his name was.
Oh.
I'm terrible about that. Yeah, you know your history, love your history, blah 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 blah. But that's where I went from like to love. Yeah, did we got you? Yes.
With
When you fell?
Yeah,
okay.
you got me.
I'm just making sure.
Yeah.
You're the guest. We're supposed to accommodate for you. If we forget stuff, that's a totally different story.
So, was there a point that you were like, I think I'm done?
That is a loaded question there, Dub. Because you know as well, like, don't get me wrong, I like Clara. I do. I like Clara. I like the actress. When she was with Matt Smith, she was great. Once she kind of
Became the know-it-all?
well, and I know that there was things that were going behind the scenes, and I'm not wanting to point the finger at the actress. But
She went too long.
It turned into the Clara show starring the Doctor, and Katie actually got a really good pun of like, you know what? Yeah, I think the Doctor was the best companion to Clara. Yes, absolutely. She took over, and
Yeah, it was
that's
unfortunate.
when I lost it. That's when
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this is getting tough.
Well, the day that on the I forget which episode it was, but they had the Clara showed up, and in the title sequence, it has her name before Capaldi,
Right?
And you're like, what?
Yeah, no.
When did that happen?
That was on that episode, the Danny Pink episode.
Oh, and her
Heaven
eyes
Sent,
show
I
up in the
think, yeah.
stars instead of Capaldi's eyes.
Yes.
that
Right,
one?
right.
Oh, right.
Her
because
name popped up as the Doctor.
That was. I think that was. They were messing.
They were
with-
trolling, but that was honestly, it felt like that was too far.
Well, I mean, the open before they get to the pre-credit opening was Clara claiming to be the doctor to get away from the Cybermen.
Right.
So I think that's why they were messing with the audience, tricking the audience. I don't think they were trolling the audience, but
I think it's a troll. Well, honestly, if they weren't trolling the audience, they would have gotten rid of Clara a long time before.
yeah.
But no, I mean, she did have her merits. We'll get into all that in just a second.
All right.
Actually, I think we will right now. But let's actually hit all the companions. But I do got to say this before we go in. They introduced Missy in
Yes.
this episode. In that episode I was just talking about. Now, I don't think that any other companion could have the same relationship and stood up to Missy like she did. I think that they brought out, as actresses, they brought out the best in each other.
Okay.
I don't think Bill could have done it. I don't think any of these other people that we're going to talk about, well, maybe one of them, could have pulled it off. So I think that for that alone, I have a lot more respect for her. Okay, so with that being said, these are the companions that sat through the Capaldi era. We have Clara. We have the Mistress, Missy. We have Bill. We have Nardole. And to a lesser extent, we have Ashilda. Me, which, yeah, I absolutely adored that character. Just great. So let's talk before we move. Who's your favorite and who's your least favorite? And let's try to stay off the Clara train because we all didn't like Clara.
I'm actually going to buck what everybody else has said, and I think Clara was actually my favorite.
Really?
companion.
Okay,
And
that's fair.
Because I do like the actress Jenna Coleman. I think she has some great moments where she was allowed to shine. I totally get what everyone
she
says.
just went too long. That was the whole entire.
Well, she did go a long time, but that's that it's been done before. I just don't think that her character was written well or consistently. When she originally appeared in The Snowman, I thought that characterization, the way that she had a little bit of spunk and she was almost a firebrand, I really enjoyed
She was
that.
too much Amy.
A bit.
That was the problem.
But then, as the character went along, she morphed into a control freak, and then at some point
she was Missy.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, but in terms of the interplay between the dynamic between the Doctor and the companion, when you remove that romantic element that was present for so many previous, you got to see some interplay that was very interesting, and that's why I would choose her as my favorite companion.
Yeah, and there was a few episodes I remember, like when she was Osgood, when she was with Inside the Dalek. Then it was
Souffle Girl, yeah.
Yeah, Souffle Girl, and then I liked her as the Clever Girl, but then the oh god, what was the last one that she was?
The Impossible Girl.
That's when I got lost. That's when I'm like, okay,
it was trying to be too brilliant, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
Your favorite, sir?
Gosh, I like the dry humor of Nardole.
So do I.
I thoroughly thought he was just the snarky. I have several friends that are, we call them snipers. Like they just wait for they listen to everybody, and then they just have those little shot moments those little one-liners that is like, man, that is so funny. And Nardole, to me, Matt Lucas was so good at that.
Yeah, he's a great actor anyway.
Right.
I'm not familiar with him in other roles outside of, but I agree. He had sniper moments where he just comes in, delivers the great line, and he gets to walk away.
There is a British show out. It's on Hulu called Fresh Meat. He was one of the stars in it, and it's basically him in like a college dorm. That's what the whole thing is, and he's brilliant. He has hair, but he's absolutely brilliant in that. That whole show's really good.
I do need to check that out, though.
I recommend it. That's the first time I saw him, but he's in quite a few shows.
He's been in Little Britain.
Little Britain, that's the one.
He's been in Les Miserables. They're Doctor Who. He's also in Alice in Wonderland and Alice in Through the Looking Glass as well.
Oh,
according to his Wikipedia.
Nice. Okay. So. And I got to say, S.H.I.E.L.D. is my favorite companion. I wish we would have seen so much more of her. But Maisie Williams, how do you not? I mean, that's the best actor they've probably ever had on the show, to be honest with you. Well, pretty close, Nick John Hurt, but she's something really special.
Yeah, definitely, because of the way that she looks young, but can play
100 years old.
Yeah, 1,000 years old.
Yeah.
She traveled a lot of time to get to the end of the universe.
Right.
And she has that composure, that wisdom that only somebody who has seen everything
and it's
can
in
have.
the eyes. She does it in the eyes, and it is...
Yeah.
Well, just even in Face the Raven, when she's the mayor of that district, and you could just see that she has definitely brought her Game of Thrones mentality into the role as well. Of like, oh, I know how to play this role. Yeah,
right. Yeah,
I know how to govern people. That's fine.
But at the same time, she wasn't just rehashing anything from Game of Thrones either.
Right. But she definitely tapped into that reservoir of being in that show for so long. Yeah.
Yeah, but she's the companion that I want to see constantly. I mean, she could go as long as Clara, and I'd be happy with it.
Cross the fingers, she'll be in this season, hopefully.
Do you want the spinoff show with Clara and Ashilda traveling the universe in a flying diner?
Yes. I would watch that in spite of Clara. And then they can meet up with the other tenant, that's out there with this
in the Bad Wolf universe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
get Moffat on the phone.
Kosh's brain just exploded.
Mine just blown.
And badass Mickey too. While we're at it.
Oh, and Rose.
Oh,
yes.
Anything that brings back Jackie Tyler.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
I'm in. Yeah.
They'll grab the Ponds. They'll grab River. It'll just be a whole cavalcade of just ex.
I would
stars.
be okay with that.
Yeah.
Somebody call Moffat. I don't think he's busy right now.
He's not doing well unless he's writing another Sherlock episode. I doubt it.
This is like the Better Call Saul of Doctor Who.
Tell you what, I think this would get better ratings than the current Doctor.
I'm
not saying anything negative. I'm just saying.
You said you'd wait.
That I think this would get that would get better ratings.
It's a better idea than Class. I don't know if you sampled that,
Class
and I don't want to go too far down that road, but I just
Okay.
let me be a sniper. Let me just drop that in and leave.
Fair enough. I am 2 against 1 on this one.
Okay, so who was our least favorites? I'm not gonna say Clara, but honestly, and I wanted to like Bill, and she had great moments, but I didn't like her that much. That maybe it wasn't we just didn't have her long enough. But I just like okay. Her last episode was brilliant and made you cry, and it was great. But
Do you think it's because it was more? I enjoyed Bill to the fact that I was getting not sick and tired, but kind of like the companion was starting to become more of a love interest, or there was a fascination.
Yeah.
Like with the Pawns, like it kind of it was like almost like a love triangle, and then with Donna, it was kind of there was an attraction to him, and then Bill was more of a student to teacher ratio, and
Right. Mentor type of
Yeah,
But
relationship.
mentor type
it
of
wasn't
thing.
the most interesting of dynamics.
okay.
But I say the last episode, she did great in certain things, but she's the companion I cared the least about. Like, okay, I was waiting for it to end.
Okay.
You know, and that's not how you should ever feel about a companion.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you. I'm in the same book, and not that I disliked her, but you asked me what my least favorite of the crew.
Right.
I think it would have to be Bill because the introduction was a little bit annoying. She asked a lot of questions, and then that was quote as she said. That's kind of my thing.
I'm
She
a
was.
lesbian. I get it. Cool. And it had to be brought up every episode. You're like, I get it.
They did drop that in occasionally here and there.
Occasionally, every episode.
Um,
And I say, you know what? That I don't care. It doesn't bother me one or the other. But it's like, we got it. Everyone that watches Doctor Who watches every week. We got it the first time.
Yeah.
You know.
But I just feel like they didn't give us a reason to care about her.
Exactly.
Okay.
You didn't love her. You cared more about the pilot than you cared about her.
Yeah, that is interesting. There was something about the pilot, but we'll get into that in a little bit.
Yeah.
Right.
We
Yeah.
definitely will.
Yeah.
And we said Missy, right? Not least favorite, but like
Missy was in there.
we checked about
We haven't really chatted about her yet.
no.
She traveled with the Doctor.
Yeah.
Does that make her a companion?
Would you consider the Master a companion? No. And it's the same person, so you can't.
Yeah.
Yep.
But at the same time, God, what a great freaking... Anything that you can say about River Song, you can say about her.
I so want Michelle Gomez to come back. I hope she comes back. She was so
Well, she
good.
hadn't died.
But I mean, just the actress herself is just
Yeah.
so good.
So I'm watching Sabrina the Teenage Witch. She's in it.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
And she's good in that?
Go check out our binge watching episode.
Oh, yeah. And if you want to see early Michelle Gomez, check out Green Wing, where she does a comedic performance.
Yeah.
Okay.
And honestly, I never found her attractive on that show, but you see her on Sabrina, you're like, oh, okay, I get it. She is pretty. But she's got kind of a weird look that I know Moffat's really into on Doctor Who, but it's a bizarre look that they have her in, the makeup, and it's like, I get it. Okay. But no, I wouldn't. We've been back and forth on, is she a companion? And if you can't consider the Master to be a companion, which you can't, because that is a
He's
straight
more
up
of a
enemy.
rival than
Yeah.
a.
And even though they were best friends, the dynamic between Capaldi and the Mistress was fantastic. So, yeah. So who was your least favorite there, Kosh? You never did say.
I thought I did.
No, you just said, did we talk about Missy?
Oh, I don't really have any. I would probably have to agree with Bill. Like, they're all great characters, but if as far as attachment goes, like I really enjoyed Nardole. I really enjoyed. I like Clara. I got attached to. Well, like we were talking about, like it's kind of like she's your best friend that does you wrong, but then after a while you get over it. You're like, all right, we're still good friends. Like I still respect the actress. The way that they dealt with her character was beautiful and brilliant. I loved it. So yeah, Bill. As far as attachment, Bill, like it's like, okay, you're a companion. That's fine.
Okay, so let's move on to kind of quote-unquote the main event. We're not really going to be doing the cuts like that. But so the main event today, we're going to be discussing our top 2 favorite episodes from every season. Now, we did some work on this, so that we actually have 6 episodes on each of these. So we're not going to beat them to death, but yeah. This is why we're not doing a top 5, because that would be a pain in the butt. Okay, so let's start with season 9.
Season 8.
Season 8, the first episode, the first season of Capaldi. Let's start with our guest. Why don't you tell us first on your top 2?
Top 2, I mean, it's fairly easy in terms of picking my favorites because I love the introduction episode when the
Really?
doctor is, and this is episode 1 of season 8, Deep Breath. The doctor is kind of finding his footing.
Yeah. That's
there-
what I hated the doctor.
But there is some silly play in there, but there's also some very dark turns that set up the rest of the season where you didn't know how he was going to be. And that intrigued me so much, especially considering at the end of that episode, you don't know if the doctor pushed his the villain out of the balloon or
Yeah.
if the guy jumped himself. They leave it very vague.
Yeah.
And that drew me into the show or that season.
And I did like that really just set up that arc for the whole season with you see the White Room and like, what's going on here? Is he in hell? Is he in heaven? What the
Right, where we first see Missy, and you don't know who the character is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
You-
has
you
yet to
see-
be
you see-
revealed.
You see the back of Missy.
Right.
Yeah, that took
Yeah.
a while. That was a great slow build.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your other one, sir?
Oh, we're going
Yeah.
both? Okay. The other episode that I love from season 8 is Flatline. And like I was saying before, this is the one where I feel like he finally really, the
Figured out who
cement
the doctor was.
hardened, and this is the doctor that we got. There's a little bit of silliness in the episode again for when he's doing that little dance inside of the TARDIS.
Right.
And there's also him taking down, you know what? I have to look it up. Yeah, again, I'm making the mistake. It's not the Beauregard, but it sounds like that, and it's a very simple word, and people are yelling at their car radios and their headphones right now. but yeah, when he basically does take command of that character when he says, "I'm the doctor." Every doctor has that moment when he claims to be the doctor, and that was it for me.
Okay.
Fair enough. What about you, Kosh?
I'm gonna look while you guys are talking.
I'm looking it up too as we talk. Actually,
Spoiler alert! Like, we're all looking at our phones. But so my first episode in season 8 was "Kill the Moon." That's one of my favorites, where the moon, the people of Earth are the doctor sent onto a ship because they are planting explosives onto the moon because something is happening to it and it's messing with the Earth. The Earth has voted to destroy the moon in order to save the planet, and the doctor finds out that this is not a moon, that this is an actual egg that is about to hatch. And when at the end of the episode the moon hatches into a dragon and then replaces it with another moon.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I hated this episode.
I like dragons.
I love dragons. But this episode was so ridiculously silly to me.
But that's what
It's
Doctor
a
Who
dragon.
is.
Come on.
It's so good. Well, that's the same thing about there's definitely each Doctor episode is it looks like it's a horrible thing that's coming after you, but then in the end you find out that it's not.
They're misunderstood. Oh, they're like Three's Company every episode.
It's perspective and context,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you're dumb for liking it.
I'm like, oh, it's a dragon.
I don't know. That's just one of those episodes that are just like, it's as bad as dinosaurs on a spaceship.
Oh, don't you knock dinosaurs on a spaceship. That is a silly, fun ride. But, I mean, I think that episode is one that you have to suspend your disbelief and just go along for the ride. The one part of it that I didn't like that Courtney was part of that team. She had nothing to do there except for spray a spider with some, Windex or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But she and the doctor seemed really irresponsible in bringing her along. And when the danger popped up, he said, you can go chill in the TARDIS, which, by the way, fell into a cavern.
Right.
But a responsible doctor who actually cares about people's safety, he would have taken her back home, maybe, and then returned back to the exact moment that he left.
Yeah.
So that episode does have plot holes, but that's not to say that it wasn't enjoyable. And I did find out the villain is called the Boneless.
The Boneless.
The Boneless. There you go.
I like the Beauregard. We should change it. Have him change it.
And did you get to do both of them?
My second one, I'm reading it as quickly as I can, was the season finale for episode 8, which is Death in Heaven.
Oh yeah.
Where all of a sudden
that answers so many questions.
All of a sudden, these Cybermen just start coming up all over the world and start just kind of in mass production, kind of encapsulate the Earth. And then there's Danny Pink, which we didn't really we kind of considered wasn't a companion, but was kind of a companion to Clara to a certain extent.
He was a jealousy thing, and I'm like, I didn't get it.
Well, I think they were trying to make the pawns again but at a distance
Yeah.
to see if it would work,
And it didn't.
and it really didn't
at all.
But at least with Danny Pink, he got, to a certain extent, got a valiant death, a send off.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did. He deserved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like the callback to extremely old Who when it had the commandant,
The commander, the general. That
Oh,
was
Lethbridge Stewart.
yeah.
Oh, that was one part of the episode that I really disliked.
Really, I thought it was a
Yeah.
nice, respectful callback.
Oh,
Why didn't you like it?
Because he's one of the classic Who characters, and I don't
It never got an ending.
That never got an ending, but I don't like that his fate was he ended up as a Cyberman.
Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. I thought it was a good callback because we never got an ending with him.
Yeah, understood they wanted to do something, and they did that, and
he deserved it. He deserved to have the people of today know who he is.
Right.
But I believe he deserved better.
Okay.
Yeah, because they did call back. They had his daughter in the previous seasons.
Right.
Which didn't turn out well either.
Well, she's still around. As far as I know, she didn't die.
No,
in
I
the
don't think so.
series.
I thought she did some evil stuff.
No, he rescued her. Because she got blown out of the plane, and
Oh, okay,
he,
yeah. No, I'm thinking of the clone.
And just as a side little note, this is where the Doctor finds out that Gallifrey is actually still existing, and he goes off to go find it as well. It's kind of the cliffhanger of the whole ending of the season.
Yeah. And is this season the one that ended, and then they were off for like 3 years or 2 years? Or was that the next season?
That was the next season.
Okay.
So they did 8, 9, and then 10.
See, now that would have been a better ending for, honestly, when they were going to take a hiatus like that.
Okay.
Because, hey, Doctor's going away for a while.
But the end of this episode did lead right into the Christmas episode where we see Nick Frost as Santa. But I just want to say one thing about this episode real quick is that it has one of my favorite lines from the Capaldi era, which is... there are iPads in heaven? Oh, yes, we have Steve Jobs now.
That's I forgot about that one. That's an outstanding line.
Especially considering how you were busting me to be an Apple guy.
No, I am an Apple guy. Hey, me too. Yeah. Okay, so my two are... The first one was the time heist.
Oh, yeah.
Which, that was one of those episodes, like, it starts out and... Nobody has any memory of what's going on, including the Doctor, because the Doctor doesn't have the answers.
The memory worms.
And it's just such... It's such a different Doctor Who take, and I enjoy it. You remember that?
I'm reading. I forgot about the
I wanted those two to become companions. Didn't you?
I wanted them to be the new recurring characters that would pop in every once in a while.
I want them to be the Pastrani gang.
Pastanadra.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I wanted them to be that. But we never
Yeah.
saw them again, and it's kind of unfortunate.
Yet.
Yeah.
I haven't seen them yet. You never know.
And then the second one you see, when you really got to see how cruel the Doctor could be, was Mummy on the Orient Express. Again, completely different take on Doctor Who. Watching how cold and calculated the Doctor could be was really an interesting... and that's when you were starting to wonder, do I hate this Doctor?
Yeah.
I didn't like him before. Now do I hate him?
Yeah.
He's really just letting these people die just to get the information. And that's what the Doctor would do.
Yeah.
You got to take the emotion out. That's what he would do.
Right.
Yeah.
But the way they did that whole episode was really cool.
They had that same Doctor in, I believe it was Into the Dalek? Was that the name of the episode? Where the Clara and the Doctor travel in and people are dying left and right, and he's just kind of like, nope, they're gone. Moving on. Got some information, moving on. That's the same thing with that episode. Yeah, it's a very cold and calculating Doctor.
It was such a fun episode. The great music they had with it. And
all
that great jazz. I think it was, who was it?
Foxes.
Huh?
Foxes singing a Queen song.
Yeah. The Don't Stop Me Now. And I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. I shouldn't like this. Because I hate Queen covers. I love Queen. I hate Queen
But
covers.
I love that cover.
Wow, that was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are my top two. Okay, so let's move on to our season 9.
Season 9.
Let's start with our guest again.
Oh, well, season 9,
This is one of the most action-packed of all the seasons, I think. We found a lot of...
And into which this is where we turn into loving the Doctor.
Yeah, this is when we love the Doctor again.
Yes.
All right, so my favorite episodes from this season, it's kind of almost a trilogy because it carries one.
You're greedy.
One story. I got it.
No, he has to.
No,
do
you
this
have
way.
to.
He
You
has
have
to
to
do
do
this.
these.
Yeah, it's hard to break these up, which are episodes 11, 12, 10, 11, and 12. Face the Raven, Heaven Sent, and Hell Bent. And this
Man,
is
who's crying
Clara's
right now?
dead. Yeah. What? Oh. I
But
mean,
you know what?
no, it's a great episode.
That was the best episode she's ever done.
Oh, just it was good. Like even with all the trials and tribulations, everything I've said about Clara, I even had a tear for her. She was just it was beautiful how they sent her off.
And that diner.
But that is one weird thing about the Moffat area. None of his companions make it out clean. All of them die. Amy and Rory die.
Wrong. Not at all.
Well, Nardal's is. Would you no Nardal's?
Well,
not
he
here.
somewhat survived. Yeah, he's
survived.
part robot at that point.
Well, yeah.
But he does show up. Well, I don't want to go too deep into like other things that we might be talking about. But
Yeah.
the main companions.
Donna?
Shield is
Donna?
good to go.
No, I'm saying in the Moffat
Donna
area.
had Donna. Oh, don't talk about Donna.
Oh, but Donna's not dead.
That yeah.
Right, but that's not the Moffat era.
I mean,
Yeah.
her
That's,
father is, but she's not.
yeah,
that's
yeah,
a pretty scathing.
yeah. But yeah, Amy and Rory, Bill, and
well, no. Amy and Rory are not dead.
well,
They're just back in
They
time.
they died
and
of
they
old
died.
age.
Right,
But
This-
they're back
yeah,
in time. I mean, they lived their life. I mean,
Right.
they just went back in time.
Right.
So there
River's
goes your
still there.
theory.
I think it still holds
yes,
up.
it's all about a certain point of view.
Yeah, but we are kind
look,
of
get back
diverging
into
from the episodes. We see the death of Clara. We see the Doctor going through his confession dial. And trying the Time Lords trying to extract from him the mystery of who is the hybrid, and we see that conclude with the Doctor going back to Gallifrey and taking on Rassilon, and a character that we hadn't seen since the I guess season 4, season 5 maybe.
Yeah.
Just that whole trilogy is amazing, and and Capaldi does what he does best. He gives great speeches.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because he wasn't the running doctor, and he didn't need.
Yeah, was it that the episode was? I think it was Hellbent when he goes back and he was in that hut and then that ship comes down and he just draws that line and walks back and goes,
And
"Bring
you-
it."
Yeah, and you got this giant ship with a gun pointed straight at him,
Yep.
and he goes back and eats his soup.
Yeah, like okay, that's adorable. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I like how this doctor, the way that he was written, was completely different from the other doctors. Just the way that he handles stuff, he's like, eh. And but he did always have that punk rock screw if you don't like it type sensibility.
Yeah,
Which they really did bring in from Capaldi himself.
yeah. I also love that moment when they say, "Doctor, put down your weapon," and he puts down his spoon.
Yeah.
So that was all three. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm going with the specials. Like all of like season 9 was just phenomenal. Like I totally agree with you with the trilogy. That's what made me love the Doctor even more. So I'm gonna go with the Husbands of River Song.
Nice. Okay.
Where she had to grab the jewel, had to find out the jewel, but she was trying to steal it from him. And then the Doctor, like she didn't realize who the Doctor was, like, and he was trying to figure out what. He was trying
Yeah.
to convince her that he was actually her husband.
Right.
And then they had the beautiful date at the end, and then that's when she prepares to get sent back for the library for Tennant, and
Which where it went full circle.
Yeah.
Because when they first met, he didn't know who she was.
right.
Oh, I forgot
And
about this.
it's so beautiful because when me and Katie were watching Tennant and saw that library episode, like she started to well up, and I'm like, "What's wrong with you?" And she's like, "You have no idea who River Song is," and I'm like, "Okay, I'll take your word for it." Now going back and now seeing the Husbands of River Song and seeing that thing go back full circle, I don't think I could watch the library episode anymore. Because I'll be the same way. Like I'll be like that. Oh, I know their history. I know what River Song means to the Doctor.
Yeah.
Ow, I don't even want to talk anymore.
And now on a lighter note,
Please?
I'm going on to the second. I think this was the actual Christmas episode, which was the Return of Dr. Mysterio. Yes.
It's just light fun. They needed it after the being off for a year.
And
Yeah,
then having like this whole Superman with the reporter and the girl, and he was like, he was so nervous about like telling her his true feelings, and then finally at the end of the episode, he finally does, and they actually get together, and it's just lighthearted, good
Yeah,
fun
it
with
was
the Doctor.
it was a good standalone Doctor Who.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and honestly, that's what every season needs. At least 3 of those episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a good fun romp.
Yeah, just nothing. It's not an arc. It's just fun.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
that's why I like the off stuff. When
how
they
did you feel about the most controversial part of that episode, the squeaky toy? Did it drive you crazy or did it crack you up?
It cracked me up.
Yeah, I thought it was really funny.
Okay, so my first one is a two-parter. I'm taking that from PB. The Girl Who Died, Woman Who Lived. The introduction.
It's all about me.
Yes, of Ashilda.
Yeah.
There's just that character. I could watch that character forever on Doctor Who. That needs to be like the permanent companion, because that's the one person that could be a permanent companion to Doctor Who. Just say it.
Yeah.
Just watching, just the horror of young and healthy forever.
Right.
That sucks. You know, it's incredible, but at the same time, like, oh, that sucks.
And to a certain extent, like I do enjoy the Master, but like the Master has a personal connection with the Doctor,
Mm-hmm.
being best friends, and then kind of turning into enemies, and then being best friends again. Where me is almost like can be in the category of like Davos if she wants to be, like where it's she is a formidable. She could be an ally or an enemy depending on what side the Doctor is going to be on in that certain situation.
And she doesn't really have a moral compass.
No.
Just whatever feels good at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She doesn't do anything particularly evil, but she doesn't do anything particularly good unless
It's almost kind of like, I don't want to say balance,
It's
but
boredom.
it's just, yeah. And the Doctor has to go in and either try to help her or try to prevent her from doing something. Yeah.
And you could have fixed me how many times?
Right?
Oh.
I think what I love most about the those 2 episodes is we finally learn how the Doctor got that face
Yeah.
to remind himself to do good. Because when he in the earlier episode when he's looking in the mirror, it's like, where did I get this face? Who frowned me this face? Look at these eyebrows; they're attack eyebrows.
Yeah.
They're all fine till they get up to the eyebrows, and then it's just crazy. So I mean, he realizes that it's a callback to the fires of Pompeii, I believe.
Right.
Yes.
And in which Peter Capaldi was a
Was
character.
the first.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, that's just a great tie-in and callback.
And then my second one I wanted to discuss real quick was the zygote inversion.
Can't we just let Zygons be Zygons?
We should until they get evil.
I cannot take that myself. I saw that on a meme, but I thought it was hilarious.
So, and then the end was a little silly, but I liked it. You know, no, you don't know if you're a Zygon, if you're a human for the next X amount of time, and then you got to come up with something that's going. And I was like, I wish the world could do that.
If I'm not, because I'm not looking at my phone, that's the one with the 2 boxes or the big
Yes.
box. Yes.
Right, the one that tied into the 50th anniversary episode.
Yes. Okay.
And then you gotta, each one can destroy the other one.
Right.
And the speech about war.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was great.
that was a high point of his series.
Yeah, and it was political without pushing it down your throat. That was how Doctor Who should be written. Honestly, they make a point. You know, the Doctor's a pacifist more than anything else.
Unless you really take him off.
Yeah.
And then he'll rain hellfire
Well,
on you.
the Doctor understands balance. You know, and that's what. You know, up to now they've been very great at writing that. So yeah. Okay, so let's go on to our final season of The Doctor.
Alrighty. For season 10, I have 2 episodes I think you may find controversial, but I do love them. I do like the pilot, where we first get to meet Bill.
Okay. No, I liked it, but
I think what I like the most about it is it has all the little elements of where the Doctor has been the last 2 seasons, and it opens with the shot in the college, and you see so many sonic screwdrivers in the little pencil holder, and he's playing guitar in the other room.
Yeah.
And it's not quite the silly opening that we saw the previous season. This is a stable Doctor. He's been teaching at that university for a while.
Mm-hmm.
They put him in a position that we haven't seen before.
For 50
he's
years.
Yeah, he's a settled down Doctor. That's something we hadn't seen before, and that again pulled me in and intrigued me.
Which he played that. He played that, I think, better than he played anybody.
Well, it wasn't, if I'm not mistaken, it's because because that's why Nardal was there, was because he was kind of like the guardian or the watcher of the Doctor to make sure that he never left the planet.
Because he had to watch them.
Yeah,
watch
because
the safe.
Basically, the Doctor got put in timeout and started to do the university, and then they had the mysterious vault, and there was some clanging, and you never know who was in there or what is in there.
Oh, we all knew who was in there, right?
I did in the first episode.
I'd say it took me the third, and then and it just kind of came. I'm like, yeah, I wonder who's. Oh, that would be amazing if that's who it is.
Was it when she played Pop the Weasel on the piano?
I think so. Yes, I think so. And I'm like, okay. And then even Katie was like, "Yep, I know exactly who's in there." I'm like, "Who?" She goes, "I'm not telling you."
Or maybe I didn't know who was in there, but I know who I hoped would be in
Yeah.
there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was. I love it when the writers can give you what you want.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the reveal, and you're like, "Yes, all
Yeah.
right."
Yeah. And then the other one was the episode Thin Ice, where they go back in time.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, which is interesting because every time you introduce a new companion, they have to have the 3 episodes. 1, they meet. Number 2, they go somewhere in
Exotic,
space.
yeah.
And number 3, they go somewhere back in time. Just so you, as a viewer, get it. This ship can travel in space and time.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know if you've ever realized it, but the Doctor is on that same lake within a couple of days of it.
Tell me more.
It was, I think, Tennant was visiting that same fair.
The Frost Fair?
Yes, like a week before, with Rose.
When did that?
You go back. I remember.
That's
it.
awesome. That's awesome.
And that was so brilliant how they did that. And someone's mentioned that before.
Yeah.
And I'm like, when it first came out, I'm like, no.
Right, because he does say in that episode, "Oh, I've been here a few times."
Yeah, and then then you can actually find it.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
That is awesome. I didn't even know that either.
Okay.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, you.
Okay. Well, I am going to go to the next episode right after Thin Ice, and wonderful little, like we said, the one shots that just are fun and just have a good time with. Knock Knock.
Yeah.
With Bill has, she wants to get out of the dorms and finds these groups of people that have this like really killer house that
Yeah.
that
For
is
nothing.
huge for nothing. I mean, they're getting this thing for like just penance on the rent. It's a little old and creakily, but the rooms are great. And then all of a sudden, the roommates just start disappearing left and right, and then you come to find out that I think the daughter and the owner of the place they're called the Dryads, and they're like tree people and they needed the roommates to survive or something.
Right, and there is a little bit of a twist to what you
Yeah.
were saying, and
That he was the son, not the father.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
It's kind of heartbreaking, honestly.
Yeah, it is, but I do like a good haunted house Doctor Who story.
Yeah.
It's like a Halloween special on another series or whatever. It's like a Halloween special.
Yeah.
It's a creepy thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I there's things I liked about it, but it almost felt like they were trying to introduce a new show.
How do you mean?
I felt like that this was the pilot episode when, like, you'd watch Who's the Boss growing up, and then they'd have the one episode where, they're all going to go to the model school, and you meet all the other students. Then
Okay,
they have their
I
little
see what you're
spin-off show.
saying. I see what
That's
you're
what
saying.
it kind of felt like on that.
Okay,
and I don't
yeah,
know
I
if,
get that.
if they were considering that or not.
You never know.
You always felt
Could be.
like Bill had something else they were going to be doing with her.
Or you kind of need, if you're going to have a haunted house episode, you do need Expendables.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that to
then
make
they
it a little
were.
bit more. Yeah, they were. And also, if I had the doctor as my friend, I totally would ask him to help me move.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, and then my final one for this Capaldi escapade that we have here is actually the last episode that he was actually in, which was Twice Upon a Time. where you got to meet
Boom.
the original first Doctor, his original
Yeah.
incarnation.
And that was so well done. It really, really was.
And I know I'm going to get a lot of people yelling at me because I can't see the actor's name, which
Hard
I know
no.
he was in Harry Potter too, and I can't think of his name.
Well, the original.
Filch?
Filch,
Yeah, I don't know his name either.
No, we'll get it. We'll get it, guys. We'll get it. I swear. I know you're screaming it right now in your radio. Let's see.
I know it. I'm just not going to share it. No, I know. I'm totally. I can't. I'm blocked. We are all kind of tired tonight, aren't we? This is day 4 of Vegas for me,
Oh boy!
and so I'm running
you going
on
home tomorrow or
fumes.
tonight or?
I am leaving in about ballpark about 6 hours. I'm going to go to the hotel, sleep a few, and then take off at 3 in the morning.
Ooh,
David
man.
Bradley.
Okay.
Phew. Okay. Thanks for the runoff. I appreciate that.
But yeah, David Bradley is so good as the first Doctor.
And I loved even in the trailers where they show the original Doctor and then it fades into him and he looks just like him. It was ridiculous how good they did.
Yeah, and he did. He played him in a movie about the first Doctor.
Right.
Oh, and it was so good. Okay, my turn, I guess. Yeah. Let's do. First one is going to be Extremis, when you see the Doctor go blind.
Oh yes.
Oh, there's so much to that episode. It's just. Oh.
And wasn't he going? No, that wasn't where he was going through the maze. That was with the pyramids and the monks, right? Then.
That was in that episode.
Okay, that was that episode. Okay.
Yeah, when he had to go find the hidden book that the Catholic Church has been hiding forever.
Right.
It's like, oh wow, yeah. It's just there's so much to unpack in that episode. I don't really want to spend all night doing it, but that's one of those ones you need to sit and watch twice,
Right.
because it's just there's the sacrifice that the Doctor puts out on that one, and then at the end he goes, "Well, what?" Something like, "You're gonna be fine." He goes, "No, I'm not. I can't see a thing." Like, oh, you remember that last scene?
Actually, I think that might be. Hold on, let me take a quick look. I think he went blind in the previous episode in Oxygen.
No, he did it at that one.
Nope. He's right.
Are you sure?
He's right
Because he took off his helmet to save Bill, and he was exposed to space for too long, and that's why he went blind.
Right.
Oh, so he had okay, so I take that back. So he had to fake that he could read all that stuff.
Right. Then he put on the sonic sunglasses, which I'm not going to get into the sonic sunglasses.
I like the sunglasses.
Some love it, some hate it. It's a very divisive issue, but we're going to come together this episode.
And my final one that I liked was the Doctor Falls, when you see Bill become a
CP3O?
Yeah.
C3PO?
I'm brain farting.
We
I
are
am
tired, yes.
That episode was so incredible. Watching Bill get old and die as the Doctor's wasted a minute.
Well, and even just the Master being the
Master
original,
and Missy together, yes.
Master and Missy together, but it's the original, the older Master was the one that kept being his
Cyberman, like you, yeah.
Yeah, was his kind of tour guide, but he never really realized.
And you find out that the Master's the one that created the Cybermen.
Yeah,
which is just incredible circular storytelling.
Yeah,
it's like, I mean, you never knew why they showed up or anything else. You just thought they were a bad alien, but the more you realize, no, they couldn't have. Someone had to invent them, and it was from the future to create the past. I'm like,
timey-wimey.
Yeah.
And just knowing that Bill's gone. She is now a Cyberman now.
Oh,
there's no way to get her back.
The way they kill her off is so rough. They blast a hole in her chest.
Right.
And you say, this is Doctor Who. No one's going to die. Wait a minute. She's got a hole in her chest. But then... And then how do they bring her back?
They're going to fix her.
Okay, they're going to fix her. Good.
No,
Wait,
no.
There are just so many twists and turns. Like Moffat likes to say, this is a roller coaster ride with this one.
Right.
And then the pilot meets her
having to go.
Well, of course, she has to have a happy ending.
Right.
And she deserved it.
Yeah.
I'd say none of us loved Bill, but she deserved a happy ending.
Yeah. But just that moment at the reveal.
She wasn't Clara.
Yeah. The moment at the reveal where Bill is saying to the Doctor, "I waited for you," and you're just like, "Oh my god, yeah."
Why do I watch this show?
It's too sad.
It's the Grey's Anatomy of sci-fi.
Okay, before we get out of here, tell us where to find your show, sir.
You could find my show on the internets.
Oh, really? Is that what you're giving us?
How to find it is how you what you make of it.
I'm the host of a show called Faces and Aces Las Vegas. Is that a reboot?
That was a reboot.
And you can find it online at facesandacesLV.com. You can find me on Twitter at facesandacesLV. It's a show about fun Vegas stories and fun Vegas interviews. And
Until they're not fun and happy.
Until we go dark like Doctor Who does.
Till you turn into Bill.
Until I grow some big, thick eyebrows and I go dark.
That'd be amazing, though.
But I do thank you very much for allowing me to come on the show and talk more Who. I'll do it anytime.
Anytime.
Once Whitaker has gotten her season already wrapped up and we got it, we will definitely have you back and we can start talking about the 13th Doctor. Yes.
Oh, I have so many words for that.
There
are words,
and most of them aren't appropriate for a family-friendly show. Check out our website at www.iheartgeekshow.com. Use the com we paid extra for it. Go to us on the Twitter. Go to us on the Facebook. Talk to us. We will talk back. Maybe even Kaj. Maybe Kaj will listen to this episode too.
Her.
I don't know. Okay, until next time, I'm Dub.
I'm Chris.
I'm Kaj.
Keep on geeking on.
And no one has anything to say.
You've been listening to iHeartGeek. Our Twitter account is @iHeartGeekShow. Hope you enjoyed the show.